Welcome back to the Shark Tank special live event.
Hi, Sharks. My name is Nina Farzan.
And I'm her husband, Sina Farzan.
And we're here asking for $400,000 for 5% of our company, Oogiebear.
Wow.
Whoa.
Have any of you sharks ever picked a baby's nose before?
Welcome, Supers, back to another Shark Tank Tank Tales. I have one here that completes a trifecta for me. The first complete episode of interviews that I've gotten to do here on this channel. Whatever you're doing right now, I need you to give some super claps for this super business. Super Oogiebear, Super Sina and Nina, welcome to the show. How are you doing? I'm dropping my pants.
I didn't know we completed the triple crown, but thank you for that. It makes me feel
Yes. The first one was the pizza pack with Tate. Yes, I don't know why I was thinking a different thing. And then I can't think straight. We're already off to a bad start here. Who was the first one on the show? The first one was
Tate. No, he was third. It was the compostable underwear people.
Yes, they came on.
That's right.
And Tate introduced me to you, Nina, and we both have very busy schedules with kids, and it just hasn't happened. And here we are finally, 2 months removed from the live episode, give or take a week?
Yes. No, has it been
It's
been that
been
long?
almost 2 months. So
I don't.
Yeah, it's like another week. It'll be like 2 months.
Goodness, I don't know.
Yeah, I want to say we're like real close to that. I'm gonna pull it up here. Yeah, you aired on
The 23rd.
The 23rd of September. So yeah, what's today?
Almost 2 months.
November 19th. So almost 2 months.
I think we're trying to still milk our 15 minutes of fame. So
Well, you're here, so of course.
did it actually really even happen? Wow.
When it's live like that, it's like a blur. So you went there, you filmed it, you came back, and then like Nina said, let me pinch myself because did that really happen?
No, actually, I woke up in the morning and I looked at him. I'm like, did we just really do that?
I mean, this is the infamous live episode, which has a lot of people divided over whether or not they like the live format with the crowd and stuff like that. I mean, I had my own opinions. I did a whole video talking about that. But for you guys, this was a different experience than anybody else other than Tate and I can't recall their names from Ken.
I should know it too. I'm sorry.
I'm scrolling through looking for their names. Oh, Jeff and Stacy, right? Yeah,
Yes.
Jeff and Stacy.
Yes.
So they
did keep us separate, so we didn't really get to know them as well. Tate, he's just special.
There are no barriers for Tate. He just jumped right into our room.
And God bless him.
Engaged.
God bless him that he did, because we needed his energy and his know-how, and he's just so awesome.
He is, and and he's also the first one to ever get to go on 2 episodes, one of them being a live episode.
Yes.
So we usually start with like pre Shark Tank. Like, so how did, I mean, obviously you in the live episode, you talked about how you've been watching Shark Tank since the very beginning, going back to Ava the elephant. But when did your journey to wanting to actually like apply and go through the steps of being on Shark Tank start?
Well, I think we have an interesting story. I am a huge Shark Tank fan. I do watch all their shows. I just, it was a family event for us, and my kids understanding how a business develops and understanding how to evaluate a business. To me, that's just priceless, right? You get to be entertained. You know, after dinner, your exchange of ideas. Everyone's kind of, picking their favorites. It can't get any better, right? I never thought I would actually be on the show. I think when Ava the elephant came on the show, I was playing with a prototype because of what I was going through. And it just made me realize like, I should be on there. Wow. But I was nowhere even, developing the business to even think, this is a great idea for me to go and pitch it to a shark. And I really met, and a lot of things came out on the live show that I didn't even want to talk about, but I was an accidental entrepreneur. And I just, I had this great idea, and I never thought, okay, here's a business around it. It just developed. And I think we kind of watched the show together, and
I think when you
yeah.
watch it, you're like, and I'm sure most people do this. It's been on for like over a decade. You're like, hey, what would I say in this situation, or why are they saying it in that situation? And when it started to become a reality, I was like, oh, we're going to be in that situation.
Well, you learn from them that, some of the things like some of the sharks would say, like, this is dead to me, or this is never work, or go kill it. You want to make sure you're not that product, right? Or you wanted to hear how they evaluate their company and what they're asking for. But when you're put on that seat, everything changes. Then you're listening a little bit more carefully. You're trying to see what you would say, present, and it changes the game a little bit. But I was a huge Shark Tank fan, and they did prepare me, but I did not apply. I applied, but I didn't apply the traditional way. So the executive producer somehow knew about my product or came across it somehow. And I think he genuinely liked the product and was like, why wasn't this around when I had little ones? And I think reached out to me, which it's so funny. I don't even know if I can share this, but he reached out to me, and I just thought it was some kind of like spam. So I was like, no, thank you. We're really busy.
Yeah, because we got a lot of stuff like that. Like they're like, hey, I'm so-and-so with Shark Tank. And it turns out to be like a third party who did like some small business with Shark Tank. So I said, Nina, just disengage. Don't pay any attention to that. And the guy was very persistent. So then she's I think this is legit, and I think I should look into it.
Well, I think that it did come across. But what's the likelihood that the executive producer of a show is going to reach out to you in an email? And so I was like, no way. We're not that special. No way he would reach out to us. And mind you, in the past, we've had a lot of Shark Tank people who are like, hey, we are interested. So we've gone that path knowing that they're like not legitimate, right? So he was like, yeah, I think maybe you should call him. So I sent out another email by just saying, hey, I don't really believe that this is you, and we don't have time for this. And thank you so much, but no thanks. And then he sends me a picture with all his Emmys and his watch, as far as with his Apple Watch. And he's like, no, it's really me. And I was dying at that point. I was like, oh my God, I just said no to an executive producer that I didn't even know if I wanted to do the show, but out of just pure respect, I had to do something, right? So I said, I don't have any Emmys to show you, but I'm so sorry. I'm more than available for the call. And when can we talk? And I think that prompted us to start thinking about Shark Tank, meaning us being on the show, not really, hey, we love the show. And I think once he found out about our business a little bit more, I think he was more interested, but we were not still sure we wanted to do the show. And so we did end up applying.
He didn't guarantee you a spot.
No, not at all.
You had to apply just like everybody else.
Absolutely. He was just like, we really encourage you to apply. We think you've got something special here. I really like your product, which that actually warmed my heart because, what are the odds that someone that, in that position would even like your product? So I loved talking to him. I had such a great conversation with him that it prompted me to want to apply. And I think that's when you and I were like, should we apply? Shouldn't we?
Yeah, and then Cena, very negative and very pragmatic, said, hey, look, this is a crazy long shot, and I'm just banking on we're not going on the show. And then, as usual, she proves me wrong.
Joe, I got to tell you the story. I'm on a phone call with my brother, and I'm like, guess what? I'm thinking about, applying to Shark Tank, and he's on his way to go to bed. And he's like, honey, I love you so much. And you're doing so great, but it's a long shot. I'm on the phone. I'm like, what? I just applied for the show and you're telling me I can't make it. What? No, I'm going to make it. This is going to happen. And so immediately we apply, and I'm thinking, I'm like, I wouldn't have gone through it because it's a whole ordeal to apply for that. You basically are giving your firstborn kid over. You're like, here you go, and then some, right? And so he went to bed. He's thinking, yeah, no, this is not going to happen. And sure enough, immediately we get I think an email it was or something saying that we're one of the candidates. And I just froze. I was like, oh my God, this is not for real. But you still don't know if it's going to happen. So I was like, okay, well, this is exciting. But of course, they're like, you're in as one of the candidates. And I'm thinking they're going to review us, but we need X, Y, Z. Like they wanted video. So the actual application process became more serious. And then they wanted some deliverables. And that's when I was like, okay, this might not happen.
It was a real energy suck from the business because all your focus is on getting data and updating stuff and doing copy. And so almost like when we aired, we were like, oh, we can focus on the business again, right?
Yeah. Well, the best thing about Shark Tank and anyone who wants to apply, I think it's so important because now I know my business so much better. They made me, I look at everything. We had to give them every number, I mean, it is legit. Like nobody, I don't know how people make up stuff. I don't know about that. We weren't one of those. But it made me understand my business so well that I felt like that really prepared me for the live show. And honestly, we had such a great experience. Everybody was so wonderful. They were just high energy. They were so good to us. They were so good to us.
Yeah,
it was almost like
they wanted our success. You could feel it.
Yeah,
so it wasn't like they were like, oh, let's try and get him on this angle or that angle. It was like, hey, we want you to do the best. And if at first you're like, oh, they're going to try and trick us somewhere. But no, it was legitimately, they had our best interest in mind.
Now I was kind of like, this is a booger tool. They're going to want us for that ridiculous factor. They don't know how serious I am.
That's where we're like, Neat. I'm like, Neat, make sure you got the numbers down so that you take the clown factor out of this.
Well, yeah. And there is a lot of clown factor with our product, right?
Well, okay. So there's a ton to unpack there. Let's start first. So having an executive producer reach out to you, I mean, that basically, obviously it doesn't guarantee anything, but that's like getting to know the person that is, one of the people making the decisions and going to pull for you. I mean, that's better to me than, all right. You never know who's watching, right? Who's watching and paying attention and looking. Like I always say, like when content creators come in, they're like, oh, well, we only have like 10 subscribers. Like, yeah, but what if those 10 subscribers are like Elon Musk, well, I don't want to say Bill Gates, but they're important people in an industry in which you're talking about. Then that matters, because that they're tuned into what you're doing. So it doesn't matter the number, it's just like how deep is that number go. And so you just never know, like, everybody's got boogers, like that's a thing, right? It's not exclusive to any one particular type of person. And I think that opens up the opportunity for people that you wouldn't even think might be interested in some, in whatever you're doing, what you watching at home, whatever you're doing, right? And being like, oh wow, like check this out. Like I think this is really cool. And this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. A cool example of that really out there. I play, so since COVID happened, the illness happened. Me and my friends get together and we play games on Wednesday nights online, right? Like we just started to get the gang back together from high school, and we just started playing a game that came out in 1999. We just for like 2 weeks, but that game only sold 20,000 copies. Today, there's like a whole community of a couple hundred people that play this game like religiously. Like,
wow,
it's amazing I even know of the game because again, only sold 20,000 copies back in 1999. A lot of other games came out that year. A lot of big games came out that year, and yet there's this dedicated, passionate people that still keep it around. So you just never know who's going to connect with what you have out there, and want to be a part of it. So I think
I'm going to ask you because they're going to ask you in chat, what was the game? I want to know.
It's called Codename Eagle. And if you ever heard of the Battlefield series, Battlefield 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No.
Battleship games, is that?
No, not Battleship. Battlefield. So it's a computer game, but it's also on Xbox and stuff. It's the game that came out before all those games. We
gotta check that out.
It's an old game, but it's a lot of fun. It's very
I think I just
simplistic.
aged myself by saying the game,
Battleship. I'm saying my Battleship.
So anyway, I wanted to talk about the balancing act, right? Because obviously, like, I'm a parent, super busy. Your parents, super busy, business, and then you pour Shark Tank on top of that, which, the deliverables and things like that. All kind of adds up. And what were some of the ways that you two balanced adding Shark Tank to your already busy schedule?
It was hard. Like I said, it was not a sure thing having the executive producer come to you. They really put you through the application process, and it was,
I think for us, because our slate is already full, like between the kids and my practice and Nina's business and whatever activities dinner, it was already full, and then we threw Shark Tank stuff in it. So hey, we're calling you in 1 hour, be ready, and we have to videotape this thing and make sure you're on and stop everything you're doing. And so that's where it's difficult, because things are time sensitive.
That's right.
And what do they want? Things immediately.
Everything was immediately. And it was hard because we had to wait for him to come home, from the office, or come to my office and be able to put a video together. But I think, with every parent, I think that's today's world. We have priorities, and you make it happen, right? You make it happen. Of course,
I think our kids were super supportive too.
Extremely,
they
extremely.
Were like,
well, the beauty of all of this is that they were part of it. They've been part of it from day one. And, they were part of this journey too. They were rooting for us. And, I think every parent goes through that, and we just juggle the best that we can. And I think one of the things that I find it very hard is that you want to be parent first and then everything else, right? And that becomes a little difficult. But something as exciting as this, I think, we bring the kids here after school and be like, sit here, we got to do a video, get your homework done. There's some snacks there. And, my eldest daughter, Ariana, she would come and literally video and give her feedback. Nope, you didn't, Mom, you're not smiling enough, or Dad, you got to do this. And
my 12-year-old son is like, Nina, Mom, your hair.
Fixing my hair.
Tuck it in over here.
Yeah. So we got everyone involved, and I think that was the beauty of, for us, what happened on Shark Tank is that the family was part of it. They showed the background and everything, and to me that was the biggest prize, because they were also acknowledged, through this journey. We've done this together, and it's the Shark Tank story. I mean, I couldn't even tell you that I'm responsible for all of that. I would be lying to you if I said I orchestrated this whole thing. But the way it did orchestrate, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to be part of this and have my family part of it. So it's just, there you go. There you go. Great. It couldn't be any better than this. I mean, Ariana, of course, has been, the one in the red pants. She's been on this journey since day one. She's the reason why
breathing issues and dry mucus, and there's nothing on the market. And
then Delara, my second one, who's sitting at the other end, she kind of perfected the product because she didn't have those issues. So we're like, oh, ears, maybe we could use it for ears. And then, of course, I had a full-time job. I never thought I would be sitting here doing all of this. My son became our prototype baby. We put a prototype together and we just started testing it on him. And God bless him, he would sleep through the night. He sounded like a train wreck. I mean, he was just like, you couldn't sleep next to him, but he wouldn't wake up. Versus Ariana would. But we knew the importance of how to, clean that nose.
And nose breathing as opposed to mouth breathing. Mouth breathing leads to crowded teeth. It leads to developmental problems, brain issues. So we wanted to make sure that nasal cavity was patent, it was open, so that they could breathe through the night, so that their maxilla, or the bone on the top jaw, develops correctly.
No, that So I was, before we started, there was So last night my daughter ended up sleeping in our bed 'cause she fell asleep while I was doing the Shark Tank videos. My wife was finishing up watching Elf in our bedroom with our daughter. She's 6, and she was like, "Well, we're not going to put her in the bed because now she has one of those loft beds." So I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be able to wake her up." So I ended up sleeping in the bed. My wife went to my son's bed and slept there because he usually wakes up at like midnight, 1 o'clock or whatever, and comes in for whatever the reason. But last night I could hear her breathing, and it was like a slight whistle sound. So I don't know if it. I mean, they both have had a cough for like weeks now. It's it's just part of their daily lives at this point. But I don't know. I didn't know if that whistle was from the mouth or from her nose, because she actually pushed me off the bed.
Probably
So
from
with
her
the other
nose.
side.
So yeah, as long as you're going to have moments where they're going to have, when you're congested, they're going to have difficulty breathing, but you just want them to be a good nose breather from day one. And you don't want them to get into that habit of opening their mouth. Even as adults, we improve, believe it or not. And I never put my product in this category that is so huge. So Shark Tank really opened up a world for us because he's in that specialty. And the fact that now him and I have something that's bigger than just having a product that works. I mean, how great is that? Like, wow. It hits our profession. It hits what we love. It helps our kids, and hopefully we can help 1 or 2 parents out there, or if not more, to help their kids and set them off to a better life for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So, going to the figuring out your numbers and figuring out like the valuation that you wanted to ask for, how did you go about coming up with your or initial offer?
So that was really difficult. That was really difficult because we knew the value of the company.
And Joe, you can go to 5 different people and get 5 different answers. We had some people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
valued.
Exactly. There were a lot of people in this industry that we really value their opinion. But at the end of the day, I think we wanted to genuinely make a deal. So we didn't want to be one of those partners that came on Shark Tank with this crazy valuation, right? And he's kind of like, if it passes his test, then we're not being too greedy. So we played around with that a little bit. We discounted the company a little bit to entice them to want to work with us. Our numbers were really great. And Joe, I did not know that. I thought most companies are like that. Or even when they start when I started looking at other companies and understanding, look at their valuation, but look what their profitability is, or look, their revenue. I realized, wow, we've got something really special here. That's why Shark Tank really got me to look at my company in a way different way. And that's, we knew we had something special, and we still have something special.
Yeah, and it was very apparent when they started, when you started going through the numbers, and it was just like one hit after another hit after another hit after another hit after another hit.
It could not have unfolded. Like afterwards, I said, Dina, you were just rocketing every serve they gave you. You kept volleying, hitting me back like a tennis match, and then it just kept escalating to the point where they finally, when she goes, "I'm making $1 million," they went, "Whoa!" All the sharks went crazy. And that was like surreal for me.
Again, I think we didn't even realize the importance of our numbers. I don't even know, Joe, how that happened. I had prepared for my numbers. I had prepared for so many different questions. And you know what I love about the live show? I know a lot of people have mixed opinions. And one thing I want to get across, they did such a great job. I mean, we benefited so much from the live show. One of the things that people don't realize is the people on the show, the companies on the show, we're nervous. We don't know what's going to happen, right? But I think they even the playing field for us, because the sharks were also nervous. And to me, that is priceless, because you've got both of us in a room. And so, in my opinion, I feel like it
took the advantage away from the sharks for sure. I think it was even play, even though there's 6 of them and just 2 of us.
Yeah, I think so.
I felt also that because they couldn't cut and paste, it was like it was what you saw, and it was also very organic. So that 1 minute pitch we did in the front, yeah, they made sure that was buttoned down. But after that, it was a free for all.
Well, okay, so I'll play devil's advocate here. The alternative to that would be that you only had like 8 minutes or whatever it was versus like 45, an hour and a half, or 2 hours even to make it happen, right? So like to me, that's the counter to like, hey, it was a benefit because the Sharks are kind of nervous. Is the first time for everybody, like everybody.
If we could do it again, we needed at least another 7 or 8 minutes. Like it was
and
just not enough time. You're absolutely 100% right.
That was my, in the video I shot talking about it, like 2 days afterwards, was like, I think I would have liked it more. I originally said a 2-hour special for 3, maybe 4 businesses. But after talking to Tate, I think he convinced me it should have been an hour and a half. An hour and a half would have gave you guys just a little bit more time, not put everybody on the shot clock. Because I know Tate said like they're like in his ear like, hey, we got to wrap this up. Like we just won't have it. You just won't get a deal.
Oh
like
it'll
be over.
I have such a great story about that. So, they gave us somewhat of a rehearsal because it was a live show. They wanted to make sure you know where you're going and what you're walking into. I totally messed up on rehearsal. The whole thing didn't make sense to me. And I was like, honey, you're going to carry the show. There's no way I'm going to freeze. This is terrible. I suck at this, big mistake. And they had something in our ear and his fit really nicely. And mine was like sticking out. And every time they would talk to me, I would just like fall to the side. I'm like, oh,
it was like sensory overload for her.
I was like
he's like, what? Wait, hey, huh?
To a point that the producer was like, Nina, listen, if this thing needs to come out, just take it out. So lo and behold, I got used to this, during the show. We got in there. I don't know where the boost of confidence came. I think I just came in there. I think the energy of the crowd was amazing. Amazing. I am so grateful to that crowd because they just empowered us so much.
Yeah, and that's, I think, one of the key aspects that Tate brought up was having that crowd there to be able to cheer on, though also at the end, like screaming royalty, like is probably, or chanting royalty is probably not. It was not what he
when they're,
was hoping
when they're
for.
yelling and what you heard on TV, for us, the ground shaking.
Yeah.
Like that's how loud and raucous it was.
Really? It didn't even seem like there was that many people there.
See the magnitude of the volume.
Yeah. So, Joe, before we went in, we're sitting down and they're like getting our hair done and making sure we look at literally like 5 minutes before we're going in to the second we go in. And then imagine we're sitting there and then the people in front of us are going and we hear this raucous cheering. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Like, this is real. And it actually was nerve-wracking to hear the ground shake. And we were not prepped for that experience. And we didn't even know about the audience until I think the day before.
Yeah, we did not know about the audience. We didn't know.
Wow.
First of all, we didn't even know we're going to actually be on the live show. They kept just kind of saying, yeah, you will. And then, you had to go through all these screenings and you don't know. That could have just been taken away from you. But when it did happen and we were in front of the audience, it just felt great. I think one of the things I wish they had done is maybe no clapping. The clapping part probably took away from, because I think one of the people, like what I heard from the people was like, they couldn't understand the exchange. It was hard for us to even understand the exchange. And, I think if there was no clapping, there was more exchange of the meat of what we wanted to understand from one another, I think that people would have appreciated more. I think the clapping and maybe like we didn't know we're going to be pulled. That was like totally, I had no idea that was going to happen. And when they send that out there, you'll see my face. I'm like, oh, great. Like what happens if it comes back like 0? I don't know.
That pull, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh my God, this could sink us right here.
Yeah. I was like,
what? If that percentage doesn't come out high, I mean, we lucked out.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, we knew and we believe in our product, but you don't know who they're polling. I mean, maybe they're polling like retirement communities. I don't know.
And
yeah, whoever's watching, I guess.
it's whoever was watching it. And yeah, it was such a great experience. I wish what people could have taken away from it, because I think it was chaotic for people. And I could understand why they were disconnected, and they said, that's what a mess, because they couldn't understand the exact exchange that you see on a filmed, edited level, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was worried about getting on Shark Tank for that reason. I didn't want to be edited. I'm very, as you can tell, I've got a lot of expressions, and I'm not shy to speak. Well, I am shy, but I've got a lot to say. And I was really worried that they could totally make a fool out of us, or I don't know, however they edit things. That was my main worry. So I almost think this was a gift from God for me, that here, we're going to put you on there and you're going to be as real as possible. Yeah. And I kid you not, Joe, we practiced like you won't believe. None of that came on the air.
No, none of it.
All that was just,
I mean, we knew we had to know our numbers, but we were trying to hit every scenario. And then it was just rapid fire on just a few things. And so a lot of the stuff that we prepped for, we didn't have a chance to answer any of those questions.
That's yeah. So I think that you're absolutely right. The clapping, I think, really took it away. I mean, it's real. The thing is like people, some of the comments were like, oh, they were yelling over each other. Like, yeah, that's what they're editing around when what you don't see, right?
And
Joe, we're mic'd up, they're mic'd up, and when you're watching it on TV, you're hearing the mics. When we're there, we're hearing each other. No mic, we don't hear anything except for, and we're at a 30 feet distance away from them. So yeah, we're yelling at them so they can hear us.
Yeah, it was intense. It was such an intense moment. And I think I've seen some of the Sharks even talk about the live show and how nervous they were. And I love that. I'm like, thank goodness, because it was so funny, because they're like, we don't want you to perform, but it's a live show, so let's perform. Like, wait, I did not prepare for this. I'm not a performer. As a matter of fact, if you put me on a stage to speak, I'm going to freeze, which during one of the rehearsal,
we practiced the walkout, and they're like, stop at the line, but don't look down. And I'm like 3 feet behind the line. And Nina's like, get up here. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well,
we're not pros.
They're like, you want that deal, you got to be confident walking in, and you'll see me like, don't look down. And I'm walking in, and as a matter of fact, I'm looking down, and I'm like, don't look down. And I look right back up. But you know what? None of that mattered. It's your energy. It's what you bring. If your company is great, they're going to want you. If you present well and I think the reason why I felt like we did really well, or at least I've been told that we've done really well. I don't know if I felt that at the moment, but I think it's because it was all from the heart. It was all like, you'll see. I'm like, don't look down, and then
she looks down.
Oh no!
It was good because I'm so stiff. I'm looking forward. I'm like telling myself not to look down. I probably should have looked down like you.
I did me.
I mean, you can't even see the line. Or at least from here, you can't see the line.
Yeah,
I guess unless you missed the line, it's like up here somewhere.
Well, they just wanted you to stop at a certain place, and then like if you see the Sharks, they looked amazing. Like they look like superheroes.
Yeah,
it wasn't like your normal average person sitting there.
There's much more of a presence when you're in front of them than you see on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, TV kind of skews things, right? When it comes to like daring stunts, for example, right? Like, oh, it didn't look like he jumped that far, and it's like, well, if you had actually been there, it'd be like, wow, it's actually more grandiose than it just looked on TV, because TV is flat. There's some depth, but it's not the depth that you would have if you were actually there. No, I think that I think all of you that night did a great job, and I think that clapping aside, which kind of gave it like a game show kind of feel, which
felt like a game show.
It did.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, we watched Let's Make a Deal. Like that's the kind of vibe that I was getting from it, and so if I would love for them to do it again, just curtail the clapping. They have a clap sign. Like, this is not new thing. Like, this is very old thing.
I think if we took away the clapping, the exchange would have people would have understood. I think they couldn't follow. And it was overwhelming. I mean, it was overwhelming when they were like, Nina. They went out and Cena asked me, "What shark do you want?" I said, "It just depends on who I connect." And really, there's a connection on that floor with these sharks. Immediately, you know who you're connecting with. And there was just so much love from all of them. I think I was beside myself. And I'm so grateful to that, because they made me feel at ease to be able to present better. So I appreciate that. And, I don't know if they know, but I do thank them.
Well, as they should. I mean, they are they're the ones that are like, they're there for, because they're the sharks, right? Like they need to have some level of confidence, even if, I mean, they've all done live TV before, though. Good Morning, especially Good Morning America. I mean, Kevin O'Leary's doing every live appearance he possibly can on like MSNBC and stuff.
Yeah.
So but it is it's different, from what they're used to, and all that. So when it comes to when it comes to like preparing to maybe get to be on Shark Tank, let alone be live, how did that play a part in your preparation of the business for being live, right? Because like every other, everyone except the other two businesses that were on with you got like, hey, we, maybe we're on, maybe we're not. We ramp up inventory, and worst case scenario, it takes us an extra 12 months to get rid of that inventory. Hopefully we can, muddle through the cash strapness that we might experience in that process if we did or didn't get a deal, or if that deal just hadn't closed yet, versus like in your case, it's like, hey, we're going out there and like a lot of people are going to see this all at once, and hopefully we're prepared.
Yeah,
the business is prepared.
I think, first of all, we didn't know we were going to be on the live show. We were in the same situation as the other two companies that we didn't know we're going to be on there. We were going to tape.
Right up until the day, like right up until we went on, they were like, hey, we can always pull you. And they even had a backup there. So that kind of made me feel like until we go on, we're not on. And then also because ours was live, the other people that were pitching, we were all kind of like in it together rather than competing against one another for airtime. So we were just like, sharing notes and,
I think he's talking about
kumbaya.
Beforehand. I think when we thought we were going to be taped, we just prepared as usual. We tried to get our best videos in. We tried to give them the information. And then when they start talking about the live show, kind of presenting it to us, I think you were the reason why we were like, let's do it. He's like, no pressure, no diamonds. Let's do it. And I was like, wait, I mumble. I'm not really good on a live show. I don't know like what to expect.
Yeah, and Joe, I was like, hey, we got to be on for 16 minutes. That's better than an hour. We can do that.
And we didn't have to be edited. I think that was the winning component. But we just went for it. They asked that would we be interested? We said absolutely. And guaranteed airtime for me was a huge plus. And you know what? It was an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, it was.
First live show ever. Let's see if we can do it.
Yeah. It was on my live on Shark Tank. I checked it off, and thanks to Nina, because it was her guts and that got us there.
Oh well, yeah.
I have a good wing person here.
Wing person. You're like 10%. She did 90%.
My question was more geared towards the preparing of the business itself, like your website, like inventory and having staff there, because obviously you're not there. You're not at a watch party where you can be like, hey, I got to take 10 minutes or the whole rest of the night to like go and attend to something that's going wrong, or answering emails or whatever. You're there.
We were so fortunate because I had, because of COVID, purchased a lot of inventory. And I think by accident, really, I don't even want to give myself that much credit. But I think with every company, you make mistakes like this. And then all of a sudden we were in the COVID situation and, we were able to get through that really well. And then, Shark Tank was like, we're going to do live. Well, we have a lot of inventory. We were probably very well prepared in that sense of not running out of inventory. Now, when Robert pulled up the teether or not the teether, I'm sorry, the toothbrush and some of the other products, we did sell out. We quickly sold out, which was awesome.
You made sure the website wouldn't crash.
Yeah,
too,
we made sure the website
could handle the volume.
That's right. Once I decided we're going to apply, that's when I started preparing. Whether we were on or not, it didn't matter. For me, it was like, this is a learning journey. Let's just improve as much as we can. And if we are on Shark Tank, great. And if we're not, we're going to be better for it.
No, absolutely. And so I assume you're when you're talking about the illness, you're talking about the shipping issues that were occurring, like not being able to get as much inventory.
Correct.
Like, you could get it, but like it might take 2 months or 3 months, where before it was like
correct
20 days or whatever it was, 21 days to get inventory.
It was also nice because shipping costs like quadrupled.
Yeah.
So we got in early and then we didn't get hit as much.
Yeah, we were genuinely blessed, and a mistake turned into godsend. It was great opportunity for us.
No, that is awesome, and that everything works out the way it's supposed to work out, right? And in that case, having that inventory is helpful, especially because even in September, like we were, while shipping wasn't as high, it's still like the not as consistent as it was, pre-pandemic times, being able to get stuff. So that is great to hear that you didn't wind up selling out necessarily because you were overstocked to begin with.
Yes.
Somewhat by accident, somewhat
by
necessity.
I think you were down to like how many boxes before you got your shipment in? I mean, literally, it was barren.
Yeah, we would get down to like almost nothing, and then we would order. And I was like, I'm tired of that. I want to have some cushion just in case anything happens. I wasn't thinking Shark Tank, of course. So that helped us a lot. And then one of the fortunate things that I think we're different in many different companies, we have our own warehouse here. So we can pivot at any moment. We do all of our own fulfillment. We do everything on our own. So it really gives us an advantage, and I think helps the company even more.
No, that is huge. I know, talking with Tate, that when I interviewed him the Thursday after the live show, he had just like stopped to take a breath because he had finished packing all of the pizza packs that he had available and was waiting. The only reason he stopped was because he didn't have any more and was waiting for the next shipment to get to him to be able to fulfill.
Him and I have been touching base, and we were in the same situation. I think just a couple of weeks ago, I could say we caught up with all the orders and just kind of, okay, now we can breathe. Okay, let's just keep improving, right? But it was awesome. Like,
that brings up a question that I don't know. I think I talked to the other two businesses about this. Has there been any talks of this re-airing at all? Like, because all the other episodes, they get picked up by like MSNBC and stuff to add as a rerun.
No.
But has there been any? Has you heard anything about that with this episode being special and different? And
I don't know. No, there's no talk, but
nothing on our end that we know about. I mean, we're focused on getting the deal, and maybe doing an update would be nice.
Yes, it would. So you're still in our arbitration, I assume?
We're doing our due diligence. Trying to get in, trying to just get them as much information and meeting with them. And I feel very optimistic. And we're, it's a little different because other companies that air, they've already gone through this process. And then once they air, they could say, hey, we're in business with whatever shark, they made a deal. Whereas ours is a little different. We were live, and then now the due diligence is happening, and everything looks great.
I think that that's actually a disadvantage to the Sharks as well. I mean, it could go both ways, right? Because I feel like some of these deals that they make, after talking to a lot of people that have been on Shark Tank, it's like they haven't finished their deal even after it's aired, and now the business has blown up even bigger, and it's like, well, that deal that we agreed to like getting close to 6 months ago ain't the deal that's there today, and now we need to renegotiate, and that puts the whole opportunity in jeopardy. And that's so radically different from what you guys are experiencing in the sense that, like, you know, that you've already aired, so you got that boost, and I guess in some ways it gets to speed up the process for them to see, like, are people going to like it? Do they not like it? Are they buying? Are they not buying?
Right.
And so I guess I don't know, it might be just what, like, was it the one dozen or whatever, half a dozen in the other or whatever, that saying. But it's definitely different for them, for sure, than what they're used to have that kind of cushion time to, like, let things breathe and see how it airs on Shark Tank, especially if they were kind of like, I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any other way to really comment on that. It's working for us. It's made our business better. People are just so gracious and kind to us and love the product. So I'm like, yay, thumbs up on all the above.
That's awesome. So have you been able to take time to celebrate? Because, like, normally there'd be like a watch party of some sort.
We kind of had a mini watch party because it was 3-hour tape delay on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So Tate and us, we went to a hotel, and then we situated ourselves at the bar. We asked the bartender to put on, the Shark Tank, which was coming on, I think, at 8:00 that time.
Yeah.
And then all these people started.
Yeah.
Because we still had the Oogiebear shirts on, and he had his pizza cape on, and then people were just surrounding us and cheering for us as it was airing. That was pretty cool.
It was, and then as they're watching, all of a sudden they realize, wait, that's you guys.
Yeah. Oh my God, these guys are the guys.
But our friends were kind enough. They threw us a surprise little watch party. It was the first time that I got to watch it with my friends, and they had all the questions that you're asking, and that was really sweet. And
Joe, priceless, because we had our kids doing a watch party, watching us live.
Oh yeah,
and
that's right.
And then watching the video of them, their reactions was probably a better feeling than actually being on the show, because it was like they were there.
Amazing. Yeah,
I mean, they were cheering and they were excited, and they were like, it was like watching a sporting event for them.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So
I wish a lot of people who are watching the live show could experience what we saw, because it was so true to what someone would experience going on Shark Tank. And I don't know if it translated that well, unfortunately, but it was amazing.
I think it's the clapping and the cheering. That's really, I think, what all it comes to. Well, I don't know about that. Like, I say that, but then I think, some of the comments I read, did point out the Sharks talking over each other and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, but they're editing around that, but that doesn't change their experience watching it. And I think that it would change the Sharks' experience doing it if they had to not talk over each other in the process.
Well,
from what they're used to.
I don't know. We had a feeding frenzy, so I loved it. I was like, bring it on. And everybody was, I was beside myself. I actually thought Damon's gonna, not be so kind to us. And he was even nicer to us than I even thought. Cause we were a pretty established company, and I was worried that he's like, well, what are you guys doing here? Right. But
we're glad that question didn't come up. So
yeah, it didn't come up. And he was actually very impressed with our numbers, which I'm, again, grateful that he recognized that, because every dollar has gone into the company, and it's like every unit has brought us closer to this day that you're seeing us. So it wasn't though, the numbers were not inflated. It was like a lot of hard work, persistence, and a great product brought us there. And I think the Sharks recognized that, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
Oh, I love that. So where's the future from here? Where are you headed?
Well, I'm looking forward to hitting that 400 million number, right? It's just, we're going to do it in 24 months. So we're going to hit it. Just like he said, I don't know if you're going to get on Shark Tank. He's like, well, I'm like, no, we're going to hit it. So be careful, world. We're coming out, and we just launched, more products during.
Joe, don't ever tell Nina she can't do something.
Clearly, you will be eating your own hat at that point.
Yeah, you'll see that we've launched a teether that's similar to our toothbrush. And we've got so many new products coming out. And people love it. They're loving our products. And it's like a dream come true. I can't even believe that I'm sitting in this position sharing this with you.
Yeah.
And
Nina's got she's super creative, and she has a pipeline of ideas.
Thank you. That's so sweet of you. You see that gift box in the first part? That has been our best-selling product.
Really?
And it's such a great idea, which it was just on a whim that we had, is to put all of our gifts, whatever we have, in a gift box. So someone has a baby, boom, send them that. And it's such a great price. And I mean, we're selling out. We actually sold out of that. We were on back order for a while.
How are you handling that internally, as far as like SKUs? Because like obviously you have all the SKUs and now you're putting all the SKUs in a box. Are you boxing it up as ordered, or are you boxing them and then selling it?
As ordered. And
it's only through our website.
Yeah, it's only through our website. I'm taken back by just the level of love for that. I knew I'm that mom. I know someone who has a baby. I want to just go and what can I get them that's new, special, and I know they're going to use it. And I didn't think it's going to be such a hit, and it's just been amazing.
I mean, it makes it easy, to do it. When you're thinking about like, oh, do I get this? Do I get that? You just get it all, and it's in a box already. How else is that?
I was watching your show when you were talking to Tate, and I don't know if it was Tate or another. I was kind of trying to see who you are and what your show's about. And I think you were commenting. First of all, you commented about Sina and Nina, which I thought.
Oh yeah, we didn't even. I wrote that on my paper here.
Yeah, which I love. It's one of my favorite questions. He hates it.
That was when you were doing the live show. Video.
Yes, I was wondering if someone was going to bring it up because, I think
we did it.
It was Barbara.
I was surprised because I thought on
so many
stage
questions.
They were going to be like Sina and Nina. I was like, Damon's going to say something about this, but no, he didn't say anything.
I could see him saying that.
I think they loved it. I think everything worked out. Totally coincidental, by the way. I actually told him I can't go out on a date with you because this whole Sina and Nina is not going to work for me. And then I end up marrying the guy. Yeah. But
Jill, I'm at 27 years. I'm still chasing this gal. She's still running away from me. I'm like
true.
Pepe Le Pew, and she's the cat, and I'm still trying to catch. I still haven't caught her yet.
It's meant to be. It's meant to be, and I appreciate you saying that. That's not true.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
But yeah, I mean, it was. I was watching you, and you're like, well, what's so special about this little tool? Nobody has our little scoop end. That little scoop end mimics the fingernail and allows our product to be in and out really quickly. And it actually gets the job done. I think I wasn't able to share this live, but 80% of what people come to us is word of mouth. And, you can't sometimes quantify that, but we see it from anything that we do. We have more of a presence organically than any paid ads, anything that we do. And it's just, I'm like, wow, right?
Joe, she's Dr. Pharmacology. That scoop, that utility patent on the scoop, she's more proud of that than she is all of her degrees. And I'm not even, that's a fact.
Well, that's all I'm doing now. So how can I get another patent? And let me tell you, there are a lot in works. So we have a lot of copycats from major companies because, we've got something special here. We have revolutionized and kind of disrupted this whole how to clean a nose category, right? We are the experts of that. And that scoop is what sets us apart from everybody else. They try to copy it. It's not the same. The bear head is not just cute. You could see around it. It allows you to go in. The size of the product is, the reason why it works so well. So there's so much in that people are like, oh, it's just a stupid little stick. Like, yeah, but it works. Trust me. And I think when you use it, I've learned actually in the being in business, there's two ways that people buy a product. Either it really, really works, which is what our secret sauce is, or that you make people believe it works, which is most of the products that we all purchase, right? And thankfully, we were able to come up with a product that were in that first category. And I think that's why we're so successful.
Yeah, I was gonna say the word of mouth, with parent community, both moms and dads, talking about, especially early parenting, these types of things, these kind of conversations happen a lot, and then that's where this, would come up a lot, because you're like, oh, well, what worked for you, or this worked for me, and things of that nature. Because everybody's worried about, like, what's the thing? Not uh RSV, is that what it is?
Oh,
or
yes,
or
that's
sudden infant syndrome.
yes, that's right. That's right.
SIDS, yeah. So like those are like real. I mean, I had those conversations too with
Of
other parents
course.
when our kids were that young. So it's, that's where the word of mouth is going to come from, right? Build that community of parents that just are talking to each other about parenting things, and I think that you're going to get a lot of that, more so than just going to the store to try to figure out, like, what's the answer for this thing that I don't really know. And yeah, I did go to the doctor, but it didn't really necessarily maybe come up in the conversation. I know I've done that, where it's like, oh, I'm there, and there was like 3 things I needed to talk about, and we never even got to the 3rd thing. And I'm walking out the door, I'm like, darn
Right.
it. Like,
Well, one of the things that I didn't expect at all is the pharmacy love that I'm getting. To all my pharmacists out there, I love you guys for making me feel so special. I mean, I am overwhelmed by the number of pharmacists reaching out to me because they have ideas and they are sitting in the same situation as me. Who would have thought?
Yeah. No periodontists reaching out to me. Periodontal community, what's the matter with you?
I love
Let's
it.
see some love here, okay?
I did have another question for you, Nina, like, switching up the boundaries of going from working in corporate America to working around your schedule and your needs and the business's needs. How have you been able to navigate that? Because it's tricky. It's not for everybody. And
no, it's not. And again, I'm so happy that I was an accidental entrepreneur, because I think it's so hard. It is so hard to make that transition. When I told him about this idea, he kind of thought it was my hobby, and he was like, "Okay, whatever." And then it became my lemonade stand, and during my lemonade stand, it was kind of getting harder to be, in an executive position and then also be able to run a small business, right? The two just didn't go together. Leaving that position was probably one of the hardest things for me. My parents were not happy about it. Here, all this education behind it. I have a great job. I'm able to spend time with my family and be able to work. It's just, everything was perfect about it. But there was a passion and there was a calling that I had to answer. There was just something that I knew it was right. Of course, I could not have done it without him. It was such a huge, yeah. I do bash him a lot.
I get that in writing.
Yeah. Because, he kept referencing at my lemonade stand. And I think it just kept pissing me off. I was like, this is much bigger than that. Because I knew my babysitter or myself, we were using it on my kids, and I knew how great it worked. And my mom just was like, this is amazing. Go do it. So making that transition was extremely hard. But I think if you believe in something and you genuinely, your heart's in it, it just works out. What I love, what Shark Tank did, is all my colleagues and people that I worked with all reached out to me, and they're like, who would have known? I mean, they killed me because I was going into the booger business. Like, really, Nina, you're leaving this position for a booger tool?
She took so much crap.
I did.
mean, I would see people would snicker, and when they heard what she was doing, and she never wavered. She
this little thing is not that sophisticated. It's not there, but there's so much thought that has gone through that. So,
hey, who's laughing now?
Exactly. No, who's laughing now? So it's hard. And I think there's so many people I've heard from that are thinking of doing this, or they've got a thought. The only thing I will tell you is just do it. Go for it. Go for it. And if your heart's in the right place and you genuinely believe in it, something special will come out of it, and everything just falls into place. Like, I mean, my story, if I can do it, I feel like everyone can do it. And I hope that this just energizes anyone out there who has a thought and they're like, should I try? Should I leave this really cushiony, situation to take that risk? Because that risk is definitely rewarding. Now, you need food on the table. You need to make sure your kids are right. That all goes, in perspective. And thank God I had a support team. But outside of that, do it.
At what point did you make the decision to leave? Like, was the business already, like, were you already getting sales? Was it pre-sales? No,
I went to a trade show. I didn't even know how much to sell this for. I didn't even know I had a product. I went to it was called the baby shower. It was the biggest baby shower. Back then they did a lot of those shows. And I went there and I'm trying to sell this, trying to figure out the price. And then all of a sudden I see this line of new pregnant mom just standing in front of this little booth that we had. And I call up Cena. I'm like, I think I've got something special here. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know, but there's a line in front of me and I don't know how to take these orders. And that started like knowing that there was something special. I got through the end of the year thinking, okay, do I want to set up a business or not? And I think it was that year, once there was proof that this is actually going to sell, is when I resigned. And then at that January, I was all in with nothing. And it was really disheartening. I mean, my dad thought I was the craziest, but my dad was like, are you stupid? Like, all this education, all that, now you're just like, what? But sure enough, after, some time, my dad's like, I knew you could do it. This is such a great idea. And my mom was like the biggest cheerleader from day one. She's like, who cares about the money? It's what you love. You're getting up every day doing something that you love. And it is so true. The money is there and it'll come when you love something and you get up every morning and you do something that you love. So,
and she went in with very little to no business knowledge, and she learned on the fly. So as she's running the business, she's learning. I feel like she has a business degree in running her business for the last 7 years.
Yeah, I 100%. I feel like there's an innate calling, something that just fits. My gut is the reason why I am here. The gut instincts have put me here. And I think I've partnered up with a shark that operates the same manner. So I know we're going to hit that 400 million. So I hope you do an update on us when we're there.
Oh, you're welcome back any time. We can schedule, find a schedule.
We will. Now I know how to operate with you.
No, I know a lot of those feelings. When I left my family's business, it was not celebrated. It was not welcomed. It was not a happy time for pretty much anyone but me and my wife, because she knew how unhappy I was. And I didn't even know what the heck I was going to do. I just knew I couldn't be there anymore. And then once I started to see the path, there, pretty much everybody was like, yeah, no, that ain't going to work. And then
Isn't
8
that
years
amazing?
later, I'm still here, still doing it.
Yeah,
like,
isn't that amazing how that happens? And I think if more of us just listen to stories like that, it will empower us to make those decisions. I used to think, Middle Eastern background, my parents are like, doctor, lawyer, engineer. Other than that, you're not doing well in life, right? And for my kids, I want so much different. Like I want them to find their passion and find what they love, because they will be happy for the rest of their lives. And I hope that everybody is able to somehow tap into that, because it is just such an amazing feeling. And it's so contagious. And it's so contagious that now he's thinking he wants to be a part of this full time. I'm like, no, you're not allowed to do that just yet.
She tells me I got to get to work. She's like, get to work.
Yeah.
But Joe, I didn't know about this until she had a trade show. And I guess the girl that was supposed to go with her to trade show couldn't go. And I go, you know what? I'm going to come with you. And I went there, and then, we're interacting with buyers and potential overseas accounts. And I'm like, this is fun. I love this. And I feel comfortable talking to these people. And then I got on the trade show circuit, and, we went to the American Academy of Pediatrics, and we had a line of like 100 pediatricians there.
That was
and,
amazing.
that's my language. I speak their language.
That was amazing.
And I've been to the trade shows on their side. And I'm like, this is phenomenal what
we
you
go to
got
this
here.
pediatrician show, and he's like, "What's your goal here?" I was like, "Maybe 10 doctors will come by, and we'll talk about our
We have
product."
like 400.
We had 400 people. To a point that we had an audience, that we were holding things up.
Yeah, because we had something they had not seen. They're like, what is this? Oh, this would help people from not coming into my office for stupid stuff.
Yeah,
that's what they were saying.
And bigger companies like, how did you think of this product? Because this little bear head is extending itself to so much, and they're going to stick things in their ear and nose. You know people are going to do that. Well, let's give them a safer option. Let's give them something that actually will help, and not just a tchotchke. I think we, in this industry of everyone trying to do something, you want to bring solutions to people. You don't want just a product that you slap your name on and here's like, okay, let's see if we can sell it. No, come up with a solution. Come up with something that people can use, and let me tell you, it will sell itself. So, I'm sorry, I get.
I like Nina's philosophy.
No, go ahead.
If I can't make it better, I'm not coming out with it, and that's basically the way she looks at things.
Yeah.
Well, as a parent of 2 kids, I can tell you the squeezy bulb, like that's only worked a handful of times ever for us. So, it's not.
No, I gotta send you some.
Yeah,
I have to send you.
I don't have a little kid. I don't have a baby anymore.
That's
Give
true.
it to a
That's
friend,
true.
get some
They're
feedback.
not little anymore. But let me tell you, this is a game changer. This little thing is a game changer. The volume in those bulbs that we had kids, because I was in the same situation. There's no volume in there. So our aspirator actually will compete with the mechanical ones out there, but it's so.
We had the mechanical one, and that one did do a better job. Even that, I still wouldn't say was like, for the price difference to the little bulb was like basically worthless. Maybe if only like a newborn, maybe I don't know, but
I think that's designed to clear them out.
Yeah, I mean, when you're sent home with that bulb aspirator, first of all, that's not for the nose. That's for the aspirator.
They're Q-tips, but
and then it works its way into the nose because you're desperate to get them to breathe easier and everything. And
I'll tell you, Nina and I were kind of mortified with the mouth pipe pen.
Yes.
You take a tube, you stick it in there, you suck it out. Well, I don't care what kind of filter you got in there. You're not filtering viruses, especially with COVID now. And Nina came out with this, which creates a great seal, and it has supreme suction, and it takes no batteries.
It comes apart, so you can wash this also comes apart.
Oh, wow.
Put it in so there's no mold, but it allows parents to have that stability to approach baby, so you're not poking the baby, you're not hurting them. It creates a really good seal up in the nostril, and then the volume it's dad approved. So
it's dad approved. So I used to do that for the kids, and I was like, this is a game changer, Nina.
Yeah. But I think we lose something in the industry because we're also about margins and profitability. That the thing that was in the market and why I'm in this position, it's like 40, maybe 60 years old. Our grandparents were using that. Well, let's get with the time. Let's figure out, we know more. We know about, we know how things work now. We have access to better stuff. And I think this is why this little simple tool just killed it. Is because it's done something different. It's outside the box. And those are the moments that you capture. And I don't care what your business background is, but you're going to do well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to solve problems, right? That's what entrepreneurs are professional problem solvers. And clearly this does solve a big problem that I wish I had it, because our daughter, she would not sleep for ever. And I don't know if it was because she couldn't breathe out of her nose. Like in hindsight, that's when watching your pitch, that was what was, and I might've said it in the video. That was what was going through my mind. It was was that the reason that she just couldn't breathe out of her nose real well? So she just would never take a nap, she has a lot of energy, but I don't know.
Sounds like my older daughter too. But as a working mom, I had no other way of going to sleep. I was like, she's going to wake up just like your daughter, full of energy. And it was just darn boogers. There was nothing to suck out. It just tickled her nose and it would wake her up. And guess what? We'd be up all night. So
she'd be up all night.
I can talk about
sleep
boogers.
Through a train coming through.
I can talk about boogers and what I do forever. And I apologize if I'm talking about it too much, but it's just, it opened up a whole new world for me, which I hope that people can just learn from it and do their thing.
I think the important part is we're not really talking about boogers. We're talking about babies. We're talking about humans, and that's and life, and that I think is the most important aspect of it. Right? Is not I don't know. It's not so much about the boogers as it's about the quality of life for mom, dad, and the and the kids.
There's so many different implications when it comes to breathing, and I mean, as adults, we're learning that. And how crazy someone's going to come to you and say you don't breathe right. It's like, what are you talking about? But when you realize that even at our age or even older, you can improve your breathing and improve this nasal cavity area where it warms the air and
sinus spaces increase. The probability
maxillofacial
of teeth coming in straight is greater.
Look at our kids. All of them are in braces.
You ever watch the comics from the 60s? The bully, he's always got these crowded teeth in the front, and they call him a mouth breather. And there was something to what they're saying there. They just put the connection together. Why is this guy, he's coming, breathing through his mouth. His teeth are all flanged out. Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you don't breathe through your nose.
And that goes back. I mean, like there's so much data and history behind this that it's not new to us. We just happen to have a product that his profession and what we're doing, it just collided, and it was an aha moment that this is bigger than just what we're doing here. We are, if we can get this awareness out to everyone, if you know about it, guess what? You're going to do more things about it. If you don't know about it, you're going to wonder, your kid's sitting there watching TV with his mouth open. You might just wonder, hey, is there something I could do? Or maybe he's not breathing because he's just congested all the time. Or maybe he's, allergy season, whatever that is. You take that one step, you're going to improve that child's life forever.
Yeah. And Joe, I can tell you in my practice, anecdotally, we have patients who come in, we get the braces on them. We do some of the soft tissue work, whatever we have to do. And we expand the palate, and, they go from being a C student to an A student. And so they're sleeping better at night. They have better cognitive function. And you can see case study after case study of something like that. It's actually written in the literature. It's not something I'm shooting from the
crazy top. How oxygen just makes everything better.
I get parents asking me, like, what are you going to do? Have your kid meditate? It's true. I mean, if you get that, that kudos to you guys. I have a boy, and he's climbing the walls most of the time. But when I see he's really agitated, I'll sit with him. I'm like, let's start doing some breathing exercises. You see that immediate change. All of a sudden, his demeanor is calmer, and he's just, he's more accepting of what his surrounding is. Whereas he's wired, everything's just going. So it's just teaching them tools to be a better person in life, a better way of him. I mean, I don't want to change anything about him. He's so great, but it helps. Everything helps.
No, I absolutely. I mean, I remember. So my grandfather used to smoke like a lot. Like he wouldn't even be done the cigarette he was smoking, and he'd already be like hitting his chest for the next one. And I remember, he was trying to teach me some stuff like a long time ago, in the computer system, in the business. And I'm like, Pop, I can't breathe. I cannot breathe. He's like, well, you don't have to breathe to learn. I'm like, no. I do need to breathe to learn, or if I can't breathe, I'm just not listening. So, can we either open a window, or could you just stop for 15 minutes? I mean, so I can breathe some oxygen instead of the smoke. Like, come on, man.
I think we all grew up with something like that.
Yeah, that was
sadly, it was different, a little bit different times. But so how can everybody get their own Oogie Bear?
Oogiebear.com.
Oogiebear.com.
Yeah, and we have, usually tons of gifts that we give out for the holiday season. So I would love for them. Yeah, we do free shipping at a certain, a threshold, and or you can find us at any of these Amazon, Walmart. Target, Walmart, Bye Bye Baby. We're everywhere. Nordstrom's.
That is awesome. Well, thank you again for taking the time to be here on a Saturday morning.
Thank you for having us. I'm glad we got to connect.
Absolutely. Me too. Me too. It's been fun. You're welcome back anytime.
Oh, thanks.
Anytime you have any updates. Hopefully you'll get a Shark Tank update. I don't know, maybe you'll get one this season. We had a few people last season that had in-season updates. That doesn't happen very often, but with being a live episode,
Yeah, you never know. You never know. I hope so. I hope we kill it so that they constantly do updates on us. It was aside from just the exposure, it was such a fun experience. Top 5 in a lifetime to go through. So we're just so grateful that we had that opportunity. Really.
that is awesome. And so we'll be in touch. And thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you haven't watched your pitch, click on up here. If not, I'll see you in the video down below. Take care and go be super.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye. Thank you, Joe.